you have several computers but only one cable modem, not a problem. All you need to do is install a router. That way, all of your computers can use the same cable modem. Just a quick note before we get started with the nuts and bolts of installing a router. It's usually recommended that you connect at least one of your computers to the router using a wired connection. Once you've done that, you can turn on and configure your router's wireless networking. I also need to tell you that all modems have an Ethernet connection that normally connects directly to one computer. This is the same connection that will be used to install your router's wired connections. Okay, first things first. Unplug the power to the cable modem and the router. Then power off the computer or computers if you're using more than one. Once the computer is powered off, plug in the power cord for the cable modem. Take one side of the Ethernet cord and plug it into the Ethernet port on the back of the modem. Take the other side of the Ethernet cord and plug it into the router. Generally, the router slot is labeled Internet. Don't plug the Ethernet cord into a numbered slot unless your router user manual specifies something different. Now, plug the power cord for the router in. The startup process for most routers isn't very long. It's usually less than a minute. Lights should display normal activity. If you're a little unsure of how it should look, check your user manual for an example. Next, using a new Ethernet cord, plug one side of it into the first available slot on the router, generally slot number 1. If you have additional computers close to your router, you can connect them the same way. Just connect the second computer to slot number 2, the third computer to slot 3, and so on. Now, take the other end of the Ethernet cord and plug it into the Ethernet port on the back of your computer. Turn on all of your computers, and once they're ready, open an internet browser such as Internet Explorer or Firefox. You should now be connected to the internet. FYI, some routers will need additional configuration. If you're using wireless networking, you'll also need to configure your router's wireless and security features. Different brands of routers have very different configuration settings. If you need help with the configuration settings, we highly recommend that you check the manual that came with the router or call the manufacturer's technical support line. Remember, routers are the way to go when you have multiple computers and just one cable modem.